Hi, this is Chris Matthews, your relationship coach and licensed marriage and family therapist. In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different roles that couples play in order to teach and not preach to their partner what they want. So this video is all about ensuring that you know how to teach your partner what you want, what you need, and what you expect versus preaching. So let me start by just defining the difference between the two. When you teach your partner, you're taking the time to play these 4 roles. And the roles are coach, instructor, advisor, and translator. When you preach to your partner, you're simply just sharing how you're mad, upset, or frustrated by them, but you're not giving them specific steps on what to do next time so they don't mess up or create those negative emotions. And as a therapist, I see this so often. I actually have to pause the session because I'll ask a question to one of the partners. And that question is usually, so tell your partner what you would like for them to do next time. The individual I'm asking the question to will immediately start sharing what their partner did wrong. So that could look like, tell your partner how you would like to be listened to. Well, I don't want him to have his phone on. Or I don't want her to ignore me by watching the TV show. So I'll say, hold on. You just responded what you don't want them to do. Tell them what you do want them to do next time. And people tend to not be able to do that organically. We tend to always go to like what you did to hurt me. At that point, it's creating defensiveness and placing blame versus showing them next time. And that bleeds right into the first role that you're going to have to play in order to teach your partner and not preach to your partner. And that's being a coach. If you acknowledge some of the great coaches, what they do is not harp on how the player missed the shot or how the player didn't do something right. They look at the way the player can correct their form for next time. Most people know what they did to mess up. And even if they didn't know what they did to mess up, they don't want to hear about it. At that point, it's just evoking shame. So when your partner does something you don't like, direct them toward what you do want. Prime example, a lot of times in therapy, one of the partners will say, well, my partner wasn't listening. And I'll ask, well, what does listening look like? And they'll say, well, he was on his phone. But that's not what my question was. What does listening look like? So you have to know as a coach what scheme, what strategy, or essentially what your goal is as a partner. So with that being said, if you're already in a relationship, unfortunately this might not be applicable, but if you're dating, you have to look at who you're recruiting to be on your team or who you're recruiting to be your partner. A lot of coaches, collegiate coaches, go recruit players. They're recruiting a player that's going to fit into their system, that's going to fit into how they coach. So if you're dating, you need to go recruit a mate that's going to fit into your system, that's going to be able to align and mesh well with your talents. Also, coaches do a great job of producing a culture. Winning coaches have a winning culture. It's your job as a partner to inform your mate what a winning culture looks like for you. And a lot of times, if a partner doesn't know that for themselves, how are they going to coach or teach someone else? So step 1, becoming a coach, identifying your system and scheme before you try to tell someone what you do or don't like. You got to know for yourself. The second role is instructor. Think about how when you're in school, the first day of class, good teachers, good instructors usually lay out the platform for the entire course. That looks like providing you with an outline of all the assignments that are due, office hours, the grading scale, expectations, supplies or materials that might be needed. You need to be that instructor in your relationship instead of the preacher. The teacher in that moment as an instructor is laying out the outline or the agenda. So with your partner, are you letting them know what to expect? Or are you just wanting them to guess and read your mind? So make sure that you're giving the instructions. And your partner's success heavily depends on your ability to communicate to them tailored lessons that fit their learning styles. So one of the common themes out here in therapy, one of the partners will say, well, my mate gave me a list of things they want. And I know a lot of men call it the honey-do list, right? And that list might work if the learning style is aligned with that approach. I love my wife to tell me exactly what she wants because I don't have to think about it. When we first got married, she said, Chris, I don't want to go to bed and you have a sink full of dishes. I don't want to come home and you are ignoring me or don't greet me. So over time, we've learned to transition that into what you do want versus what you don't want. Now I look at it as my wife likes the comfort of knowing the dishes are done. My wife likes my attention when she comes through the door. I'm one of the first people that meets and greets her. So transitioning to what your partner wants and aligning to their learning style. A lot of men I find are fixers. We want to know what the problem is and then we want to fix it. We don't really want to know anything outside of that. And a lot of the times the experience is what female partner might want. They may want to share why or how, and the man just wants the validation of knowing it got done. So make sure you're communicating as an instructor with what your partner needs to hear in order to make you happy. Next role, advisor. When you look at college advisors or high school advisors, their goal is to align with your goal. If your goal is to go to a 4-year school, your advisor, a 4-year college, your advisor is working toward the application and the testing requirements. If your goal is to go into the workforce, the advisor might be helping you with employment opportunities based on the courses you take. So if you want to go into mechanics, you're taking a mechanical course in high school that could align with a job when you graduate. If your goal is to do an associate program, the advisor might be linking you with community colleges or associate programs. If your goal is to do a trade, the advisor might be helping you with internships or shadow visits. So at the end of the day, in your relationship, you have to be that advisor and take the time to learn what your partner needs so you can place them and you in the best positions to be successful. So what does that look like? It looks like making sure that you're presenting the resources and you understand what resources that are needed if they're not available. So for example, when I think about some of the couples that I work with in therapy, a major resource is time. And the next resource is quality. So when you put time and quality together, one partner might say, in order for this relationship to be successful and my needs are met, I need individual time with you so many days a week or so many hours a week. And then the other partner might say, well, in order to give you this time, I have to take off work. Okay, well, you're now coming together as advisors and developing the class schedule or the plan where the time can be allocated to get the needs met. And when you think about college advisors, they also are going to do assessments to determine what you are good at or what you're not good at. I recall when I was in school, I had a really good advisor and he gave me some good personal advice. He said to me, Chris, you got to make sure you slow down and take moments to reflect before just jumping to the next thing. So your advisor in your relationship or your partner might say, hey, I noticed that when you don't eat or you just had a stressful day, you take that out on me. So bringing up moments where you see your partner not responding the way you would like, and you're identifying things that you might have assessed to be the reason why. When my wife was pregnant, I recall that her morning sickness just really set a bad environment for how we would engage. So I've noticed that, during that period as we had more children, during the second pregnancy, I asked her the night before, said, hey, in the morning, I know you're going to have this sickness or this illness. What role do you want me to play so we can be successful? And oddly enough, she said, you know what? That might need to be your gym time. go to the gym, stay away from me. And I said, well, I'm being the advisor, so will you feel neglected? Will you feel like I'm not there for you? No, I won't feel that way. I need you away from me because I just want to be alone in the morning and deal with the sickness by myself. Okay, well, what would you like after? Well, by noontime, I'm better, so I would like for you to bring me some food. So I'm able to gain information as the advisor so I can set up the appropriate courses, using a metaphor, the course of action, so I can meet her needs. The next role, and this is a crucial role, I actually play this role in counseling a lot of the times, and I teach couples how to play this role. The role is translator. So, you are the person responsible for teaching your partner the language you speak. And that is so critical because a lot of partners are expecting their mate to just know what's in their head. And don't get me wrong, it's easy to become comfortable with a person you've been dating or been living with or been, together for a while. You almost anticipate that they're going to know what to do. But you have to remind yourself they're still their own person and they're speaking their own language. And that language has to be properly translated. And as a clinician, my training has been in alignment with identifying the emotions, identifying the messages behind the messages. And then I can properly translate that back. And I teach couples how to do that. So a couple of strategies to help you with it. First and foremost, you have to stay out of a place of judgment. When your partner comes to you about an issue, a topic of concern, we immediately want to put ourselves in the picture as if we did something wrong, not seeing it as an attack. That's how they feel. Next, it may not make sense why they feel the way they feel. Make sure you listen to your partner sometimes as an outside party and not solely invested in what they're saying in terms of you being the person that's internalizing it. And to give you an example, my partner or my wife will come to me and say, oh, I just feel tired today. And at the beginning of the marriage, I would take that as, oh my gosh, what did I do to make her tired? Am I not helping out? Am I not a supportive husband? No, she's just tired. There's nothing that I did to make her tired. She's tired. Or your partner might say, I'm just not feeling good. And because we have this heightened sense of connection, we think them not feeling good automatically has something to do with us. It doesn't. So being able to translate to your partner that you're just going through something just because you're going through it. It doesn't have anything to do with them. And that's challenging for a lot of partners to do. And one of the things I want to do right now is read a quote to kind of sum up these roles. And I wrote this in my book, The 6 Tips on Finding Your Relationship Fix. I said, you are the instructor for your own life class, and your intimate partner will depend on you to assign them the lessons they need to learn in order to make you happy. And I like that quote, and I read that to you guys because I want to make sure you acknowledge that you can't teach someone something you don't know first. So you have to know what you need and want and expect before you can teach your partner what you need, want, and expect. And give yourself grace. Those needs, wants, and expectations may change. I recall at the beginning of my marriage, my wife was not sociable. She didn't want to be around anybody. She wanted to invest in just getting us to, come together first. Now I can hear her say, hey, I invited the neighbors to dinner. Wow, okay. Well, I didn't know you need that social interaction, So your partner's going to constantly be changing, but it's your jobs as couples, or as a couple, to update each other on those changes. Think about your iPhone or your Galaxy, whatever smartphone you have. There's going to be a required update for every single app. I promise you right now, if you look at your phone, one of the apps needs an update. Unless you have the automatic update setting when you go to sleep and plug it in, it's going to need an update. So every day, if apps have to be updated, why as we as people won't need those same updates, right? So making sure that you look at these 4 roles as ongoing processes, and it's not really a destination. And once again, the 4 roles that will help you teach your partner and not preach to your partner are to be a coach, an instructor, an advisor, and a translator. I hope this information in this video was helpful because my goal is to ensure that you can have the relationship you want with the person you want. My name is Chris Matthews. I'm your relationship coach and licensed marriage and family therapist. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side for the next video.
You can never go back. I gotta